Hey, welcome back. Once again, we are here, David and Joe, to chat about frequencies and the Healy, which David has on and I don't have on, but I'd like to put it on right now.
Boom.
I'm going to sort mine out while we kind of get going here. So last time David was talking about how he got introduced to the Healy by a guy named Peter on a plane, and we got Peter on as a guest right now.
Peter's in the
So,
Dominican Republic because he travels a lot. He
do you
lives
want to
his life.
give a quick intro on?
Yeah, I mean, just I guess to recap. I already talked about how I met Peter on the plane in May of 2020, and that was at the time that I was introduced to Healy as well. And so I also talked a little bit about synchronicity and that I don't believe that anything happens coincidentally. And that definitely was a moment that I think, I don't even know. It was synchronicity, is what I like to use that word a lot because it is a term, a meaningful coincidence. And since that time, I've been using Healy for the last 2 years. And there's a lot of amazing experiences I've had with it, and now Joe has it, and so I thought it would be a great opportunity to introduce Peter, and he's been using Healy for even longer than me, so
All right.
I'll just leave it at that. Let's bring him on.
All right. Hey, Peter.
Hello, guys. Good to
Going
be here.
on,
Thanks for
man?
having me on.
Yeah. How do you say your last name?
I know these Z's throw people off, and I've got two of them. And there's not that many letters in my whole last name,
Yeah.
but it's just Szaz.
Sa-
Sort of ignore the Z's, S-A-S, sort of Szaz. But yeah, the Z's definitely, uh, especially some of the more Western, like English, like Australia, because I've lived my life mostly in Australia, and yeah, people sort of say Szaz and start going.
Yep.
But yeah,
Where are you
Szaz.
at right now?
So yeah, like David said, I am in Dominican Republic in Punta Cana.
Nice.
I've been here since Friday, so not a long time.
So you're just out there for like work, or you're not
Well,
living?
technically, I don't have a home as a base right now. I live where I am, so technically, right now, this is my home, the location that I'm in. I
Really?
was in Mexico before this. Um, Then before that, Colombia, Ecuador, Indonesia. So I left Australia. Just a little bit about why I am where I am and how
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us a little background on what you're doing and
Yeah,
why
so
you're in Dominican Republic.
I was in Australia since 1992. European background. I'm Hungarian. Moved there when I was 11, and lived in Australia. And Australia, what can I say? Melbourne used to be one of the most livable cities. Um, in Australia, used to be a good place where you can go, and still is a relatively good place you can go, I suppose. If you have nothing, like I suppose USA, right? You can go there and you have opportunity. You can get ahead in life. You can make a living quite easily.
Yeah.
Um, and Australia is also one of those places you can go to. However, it really started to no longer serve me, and it wasn't aligning with my morals, my values, and it got to a place where, of course, COVID came around, and we've all got our ideas around what's going on with that. But um, you know, ultimately, Australia is one of those places where it really started to impede on our basic human rights and taking away our ability to, you know, move about, see friends, see family, do all those things that we are allowed as sovereign beings to do, earn a living. I mean, I do it all online, but a lot of businesses were forced to close, couldn't open, and this is small business only, mind you. The big
Mm.
supermarkets, the big giants, of course, they're allowed. Thousands of people are allowed to be in there. But in a small business, 4 or 5 people, not allowed. So they had to close down. So, yeah, it just became a place where, like I said, was not aligning with my values, morals, and I decided to leave. And I was ready to sort of leave Australia anyway before sort of COVID hit. And again, it was purely because for me, and this is my personal opinion, it's one of those places where it's the illusion of freedom, where you have this sort of system around you and so many laws, so many regulations that you're in this box, and to basically do anything, you need a piece of paper, you need to ask permission, you need to pay some sort of tax. I mean, there's 150 different taxes. So it was just getting to a point where it was ridiculous. And yeah, I had enough and I left indefinitely, have no plans of going back.
So that was just like 2 years ago or a year?
Yeah, in November 2020. So about a year and a half, so to speak. And since then, yeah, just been moving about. And now I am at a point where moving about is fun and traveling, meeting people, new locations. But on the flip side, it's got its, drawbacks, constantly not being grounded, new energy, not having the ability to know where I can go and buy some basic things. And especially with me, I don't, use the mainstream big supermarket products. Like, for example, just toothpaste. I use obviously natural fluoride-free oil. So it's challenging for right now, for example, I don't actually know where to go and buy some of these more, I suppose, natural-based products, even cleaning products, all these things. So I have to try and find a store. And so it makes it very challenging moving about. And then, I'm at a point where I am looking where I can sort of have a base and sort of settle. But yeah, that's sort of my story. And with Healy is how I've actually achieved this freedom and choice to have the ability to leave a place that was no longer serving me. And so, there is sort of 2 sides to Healy. Is the amazing technology, product, device that gives incredible benefits, results in health, wellness on all levels of our being, physical, mental, emotional, chakras, meridians, bioenergetic field. But then there's that whole other side that, sometimes not spoken about enough, I think, is the probability of creating complete freedom and choice. And especially in the world right now that we're in, where, we've never been, where, people can't, well, it's a bit better now, or a lot better, but people weren't allowed to open their business. People lost their businesses. They worked 10, 20 years to establish something, and they were told you got to close for at least, like, especially Australia, up to 2 years. People couldn't go to work, to a job, made redundant, because another thing is, of course, a lot of countries forced people to get injected with what I call a bioweapon. Let's call it what it is. And so, people that made the choice not to could no longer go to work. So there's all these things that, really, I suppose, shook up the world and gave people a bit of a wake-up call potentially. And so that's why I'm also passionate about Healy, because what it's done for me, but what I've seen it do for thousands of other people, and this industry in itself, its ability to create complete freedom and choice, and that passive residual income where, you can get paid while you sleep. So, if you've got something on in your life, or you're moving about, or you're doing something, it's hands off, so to speak. And where else can you, achieve a complete freedom lifestyle choice, and while helping people, improve their quality of life?
Peter, how long have you known about Healy, or been using the device?
I got introduced to Healy in 2019, November. Actually, it was earlier than that. But the first time my friend reached out to me, I looked at it, and to be quite honest, I dismissed it, because I was at a point in life where I was really against technology. what I mean by that is with 5G coming and everything, and I really started to try and detoxify my life in the way of technology, right? I mean, I was at a point in life where I wasn't using any Wi-Fi. I had my computer wired, and I was really trying to limit all the technology that I was using because, as much as technology has enhanced our life and changed our life for the better, there's a lot of setbacks and a lot of cons. And so I was really detoxing. And so when it was a technology device, I sort of quickly dismissed it without looking at it properly. But then a few months later, I saw a testimonial of another friend that I knew, and it was with the use of the Healy. And all his life he's been struggling with something, and the Healy sort of came in and pretty much instantly gave him, incredible benefits and results. And so I was like, okay, maybe I need to have a good look at this. And then, in November, I had a good look at it. I looked into it. And from then, my mind just went, and in a way where I knew that this is something that's tangible and real and not a Band-Aid, like a pill, potion, or a cream, all these other things. It's working with the fundamentals of existence, with the universe, right? Frequencies, everything is energy vibrating at a certain frequency. And Nikola Tesla said it. If you want the secrets to the universe, think in terms of frequency, energy, vibration. So when I started to understand this is ultimately something that, can really, I was just pulled and compelled to get involved and help, get this in as many hands as possible. And this is something that has been suppressed for a very long time, this incredible technology. Many other things have, and that's where, sure you guys are probably seeing the same thing. The world is shifting, changing, #Great Awakening, and all these amazing things that have been hidden from us, CBD, for example, hemp, the use of frequencies, med beds, all these things are starting to sort of surface now. The truth also starting to surface around, our
Elon
system.
Musk just bought Twitter, which is
Yeah, that's an interesting
we
one
actually
as well.
just jumped on Twitter today. This is our first live podcast on there because of the Elon Musk situation.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one as well. And I don't know what you guys think of it. A lot of people think it's a positive, some think it's a negative. We'll have to see. Time will tell.
Right.
I mean, he's definitely advocating for free speech. And on that, my Facebook right now, I can't do anything. I'm in jail for another 20 days.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So what happened? Is this because of what you're talking about, or is it because of just talking about the Healy, or other things in general of like freedom?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I say things that are controversial, considered even conspiracy theories. And yeah, I say things that are not welcomed and are against, I suppose, the mainstream narrative and what the news is pushing. And a perfect example is, Pfizer published and had to release their documents on all their side effects, which was about 10 pages long of side effects that they wanted to not release for at least another 50, I think, or 75 years, but they were forced to by the court to release it. So I just, for example, I posted it. And I said, here it is, black and white. Here's the list of side effects, and this is what they were trying to withhold from humanity. And that's one example why I got banned, because it's apparently harmful and misinformation by the so-called fact checkers.
And it's like you didn't come up with that information, right? You just posted.
Pretty much, exactly. I'm just sharing things that came. I mean, there is things that maybe can sometimes be seen as misinformation, but ultimately I just share things that get people thinking, get people asking questions, get people maybe even, I don't know, fired up, because that I suppose that can trigger you to maybe look into things or start to ask questions. But yeah, I've been in Facebook jail multiple times for 30 days, and it's gotten to a point now where I'm being banned for things I posted last year. So I was banned for 30 days. I was back for about 3 days, back again for 30 days. I was out for a week, now back again for 30 days. And so this is the world we live in, where, you know, the freedom of speech, the freedom of earning a living, the freedom of moving about. I mean, even now, right now, traveling, you know, in a lot of places, you have to show papers that you've had this bioweapon. That's ludicrous, right? We live in a world where we're completely censored and we can't do certain things unless we have papers, unless we say the right thing according to them, and if they like it or not. And so this is what, you know, I'm so passionate about Healy, because it does give people more control, especially, you know, fundamentally, first and foremost, over their health, wellness. You know, I mean, it helps you really become aware as well. I mean, you know, the use of the analysis, which I'm sure you guys are aware of, you know, it gives you some insight and it can bring up things. And now we've got the coaching module, which can really help, you know, shine light onto those areas, onto your subconscious, and start to bring things to your conscious and help you become more aware of what's going on, and start to bring up things going, that's interesting. Why is this showing up? And of course, you know, as you guys may be aware, we basically only live our life about 5% from the conscious and about 95% from the subconscious. But there's so much stuff in there that, you know, we just got patterns and stories and all these things. So when you start to become aware of them, you can become conscious of them. You can start to change them for something different, something better, something that serves you more. And so the Healy, that's one powerful aspect of it, is that ability to bring awareness, not just on a physical level, but, you know, a lot of our challenges and diseases and illnesses and aches and pains are often attributed to traumas, to energetic imbalances, blocked meridians, all these things which are now starting to, I suppose, go more mainstream and are not just sort of woo-woo, you know, chakras, you know, us having an energy field, all these things, you know, were considered woo-woo, but now it's actually being sort of proven by science, quantum physics. And so, you know, it is something that is going mainstream, and the future of health, wellness, healing, all these areas, I think predominantly will be the use of frequency, energy, and all these things that we all operate on and everything operates on.
Yeah, I think this is just the beginning, and this is a great tool to help facilitate all those things that you're just discussing. You know, I mean, as far as health goes, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, man. It's like the world's fucking crazy. The whole time this thing's been going on, I'm like, am I the only one that thinks everything is fucking crazy right now? Like everything's like backwards and upside down. But you're within your people here, because we're not vaccinated either, so we're in that we're in it with you, buddy. But
No,
why did you just decide Dominican Republic?
that's a good question. Also, with what you said, like, I don't have an issue if people choose to wear a mask, or if people
Right.
choose
Just don't
after
force
their
it.
research to get vaccinated or get jabbed with whatever they want. But it becomes a problem for me when it starts to impact my freedom, my choice, and I'm forced and I'm being told, you got to do this for the safety and benefit of others. So, you know, here's something interesting when someone tells you that. What I say is, okay, so would you like me to eat healthy and go for a run for you so you can be healthy as well? Like, how about we start taking responsibility? But yeah,
Yeah,
here's some.
I tell them, why don't they mandate working out and eating organic?
Look,
I'm down for that one.
yeah, I mean, don't get me started. I mean,
If they
when
care
was
about
the last
people's
time?
health, they would do that, and they ban McDonald's. You know.
Look, I mean, we can talk about this for hours, but here's a fact.
Right.
They allowed, you know, McDonald's, all sorts of liquor stores to operate, but gyms had to be closed. Something
Right.
that's proven to be healthy and enhance health is going to the gym, working out, not just for mental health, physical health, everything, emotional health. Let's close those, but you can go to the bottle shop, because that's a necessity, and that's considered something that is needed in this pandemic or scamdemic. But yeah, it's definitely interesting times. it's also exciting times, to be honest, because it is forcing people to wake up as much as they don't like to be woken up to what's really going on. Now, why I'm here, so my current girlfriend is from Ecuador, and unfortunately, this is again going back to the system that we live in. She's got a shitty passport that doesn't allow her to, I suppose, go to as many places as I can, which, I have an Australian passport, also got a European passport, so I can basically get into anywhere and everywhere without even a pre-approved visa. So for her, I was in Mexico before here. I had my family leave Australia as well. When I mean my family, my mum and my sister, they had enough. And so I met them in Mexico, and that's why I love Mexico, and that's why I was there for a very long time. Because, again, to fly in there, you don't need any test. You don't need to show any papers. Straight in, no worries. They didn't push this bullcrap as most countries, and still allowed people to get in there freely. So yeah, my girlfriend couldn't come there because they used to allow Ecuadorians in without a pre-approved visa, but then what happened is, because of the pandemic, a lot of people were going from Ecuador to Mexico and then illegally going across the border. So they sort of put a bit of a stop in letting them in freely, and you had to apply to get a pre-approved visa before going. And she's also, not one of those people that's participating too much in this system, doesn't have a JOB. And these days, having a JOB means, that you can get a lot of things and can participate if you are, entrepreneurial and doing your own thing and earning money like crypto or doing things other ways. They don't really recognize it a lot of the time. You can't get credit cards, you can't get loans, you can't sort of travel because you've got to go have a JOB. So anyway, so I made it really difficult. And so long story short, this is one place where she can come in without any pre-approved visa or anything. So I haven't been. I thought, why not? Let's go. We can. Why not?
Yeah.
That's purely the reason. And because they don't really, also I'm going to places, and this also goes back to how we can change the world, right? I mean, I'm an advocate for, standing up for your rights, standing up for your freedom, and everything that we do, our choices, where we spend our money, what we talk about, everything is how we change the world. And so many people say, well, I can't do anything. What am I going to do? And I go to places, I support companies, I support stores, I go to countries where they're not, pushing this crap. And to get in here, no test again, no papers, no quarantine, no mask mandates, no nothing. And, that's another thing. Like, generally in stores, I wouldn't be participating with I call it a muzzle, not even a mask, because that's what it is. It doesn't have anything to do with your health. Actually, it does. It actually is unhealthy to have that crap on and, stop you from breathing freely. But yeah, like if a store would be trying to force me to put one on, I'd be like, see you later, I'll take my money somewhere else. And this is how we can change the world, is how we show up, what we support and what we don't support, right? And it's literally as simple as that. Is the government can say, put a mask on. If more people said no, then yes, finished, game over. There's nothing they can do. There is more of us than there is of them. And this is literally how easy it is, but of course so hard at the same time, because the powers that shouldn't be have worked so hard for decades, centuries to segregate, separate, make us not understand our true potential, our true power, get us reliant on authority and being told what to do, what to think, what to like, what to hate, what's good for you, what's bad for you, what's legal, what's illegal, and so on.
I feel like that's what happened here in America just recently. Like all of a sudden, it was like a couple months ago, all the congressmen and senators and mayors and whatever, they were all just like, you got to wear masks and all these mandates in these different towns. And all of a sudden, literally in like 1 week, they all just said, you know what, we're just going to stop doing that because election season is coming around. And so they need to by the time November comes around, people will forget how restrictive things were, So, but I think what happened was there was so much backlash that people were just like, we're not doing this shit. Nobody was fucking doing it, you know? So, especially in Florida. I mean, Florida never really even started that, but yeah. Especially South Florida was just like that. I don't even think people even wore masks down there because I lived in Miami for a while, and just didn't even happen. Didn't There was nothing changed down there really during the pandemic. But then I moved up to Rhode Island, and I got a little taste of what was going on in the world. But yeah, that just stopped. So I think there is a lot of that happening right now where people are just saying "fuck that shit," and then they are acting like the powers that be are acting like they're the ones that decided to like lay off, but they're doing it because we are saying "fuck that," right? So yeah,
Listen,
right.
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that, you know, Peter, what you were just saying. I just feel like there's a lot of people that this may strike a nerve with because they have been maybe led astray because of all the propaganda. There is, you mentioned a lot about all those things out there and all of the social media and the constant barrage of, buy this, do this, listen to what we say. And I feel like the awake movement is maybe the first step, just kind of knowing that there is propaganda. Propaganda is real. You can look that stuff up if you don't believe that propaganda exists. Edward Bernays invented it, and Edward Bernays was brilliant, and he was related to Sigmund Freud, and he was a philanthropist. And I think that where we've gone in the last 100 years with propaganda um, is attributed to the way that he has manipulated human psychology so brilliantly. I can say that, two thumbs up for propaganda, it's working. When you look at social media, when you look at billboards, you look at magazines, you look at news, you look at television, who do you think that is owned by? It's now like three different companies that own everything that we consume as consumers. And it's no wonder why the majority is led to a certain, to buy certain things, to do certain things. And I feel like, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Cambridge Analytica.
I've heard of
Cam-
it, but refresh my memory.
it was in the documentary The Great Hack, basically the beginning of using social media as a political lobby and being able to scientifically lock down that 13% of all of the population is always considered persuadable, meaning that if I give a concept or an idea or a thing out to a general populace, 13% is always going to be persuaded in whatever I put out there. And that is a statistical fact that happens over and over and over again. And by proving that, then through social media, they can lock down that 13% of the population and just spend the millions of dollars of advertising to them, because 13% is enough to sway the pendulum whichever way they want. And this
That's more
sounds
than
like
enough, probably. I mean, you
it
probably only need like less than 10% to actually make a difference.
probably, and that's they're probably giving themselves high fives in the back rooms, going, "Yeah, 13 is way over. We're good." And I just feel like, to bring it back to Healy, and to awareness, the fact that this device is about becoming aware of your own energy. And that's another concept that some people still need to get on board with, the fact that you have energy. You are putting energy out there. You are energy, and you have the ability to control that energy. The problem with the propaganda is that your thoughts and your mind and your own energy is almost already bought and paid for. And if you don't break away from that now, it's a long road. I mean, I could probably say for all three of us, it's been a long road of breaking away. We've all, well, except Joe. I know Joe never had a 9 to 5 job in his life.
I did. I did. About 10 years ago, maybe, was the last time.
You've always been freakishly entrepreneurial.
Since I've known you, though, yeah, you're right. Holy shit. No, because when I moved to Minnesota after, then I went back for a little bit. I've gone back and forth, but probably about 10 years now. Yeah.
So yeah,
Anyways.
I think a lot of what you guys are saying is so true in this day and age, and I think we all come from a place of love and compassion and wanting people to recognize their power, not us dictating to them find your own power, but like truly now is the time to step up, to rise up to the occasion, and we're here to help you in that process, you know, or give what we can to um, allow people to kind of open their eyes and maybe look around for the first time if it is their first time.
Another aspect of propaganda, and I guess propaganda and just like social media in general, and the direction they're trying to push people in, is I feel it's like in every movie, in every show, whatever, they're always trying to push like the mentality of everybody becoming like that leader, that boss, right? The one that's in charge of whatever it is that they're doing, right? Like nobody ever just wants to be like some guy that works for somebody, right? Nobody mentally, like they don't think, because they think that that's such a lower level thing, but there is a need for all that. There is a need for, I am one that ironically, I don't actually want to be the boss. I want to create something, be the one that created it, and then hand it off to somebody that wants to manage it on a regular basis, right? um, there are other people that just want to like make X amount of dollars and work for a company or a person that they trust and believe in, and just do that for 50 years or whatever, you know? But what I'm saying is there's different levels, and people want to like, um, they need to understand who they are and what they want in life, as opposed to what is being pushed through media of like, you need to be the boss, you need to own a business, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's like, no, some people don't want to do that, and that's okay. That, because without people that just wanted to work for a well-established company, I mean, we wouldn't have Walmarts and, you know, all these different stores that people were working there, and a lot of them are actually enjoying their lives, and that's what they want to do, and that's fine. And we need to all appreciate them for what they're doing, and also appreciate the people like the Elon Musks and whoever else of the world, for, because that's just innately who they are. And it just seems as though those people, the entrepreneurial people, are the types of people that actually understand who they are, and then they just move forward with whatever that is and develop it however it is it's developed. And for other people that just want to work for a great company, they're waiting for people like us to come along to create that amazing company that loves their employees and appreciates them and gives them what they need and whatnot. But like, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like the world, it pushes people to be sometimes pressure to be more than what you actually need to be, you know. And then that creates a conflict internally, because how you guys know, through vibrations and meditation and understanding yourself, you might just want to chill on a beach. You might just want to, you know, be the guy that hands out beers at a local bar or something like that. You know, you don't want some crazy life. You just want to live in a good little area, have, you know, and
Well,
that should be okay too. And everybody should be happy with that. But anyways, do you guys get my point? I kind of went off in a few directions, but
I get exactly everything you're saying, and there's more to that.
yes, for sure.
The system
yes.
is not designed to push you and help you sort of realize your goals and dreams and follow your passion, follow what you love. It's more about follow the money, follow the success, climb the corporate ladder of success. And statistically, you know, with what you said, people are happy in their jobs. Some people are. But statistically, from memory, the last time I heard, it was like 60-something% of people hate their job. So realistically, there's more people that hate the job, are showing up to doing something every day. They're miserable, And why? Because they were told, well, you can't make money drawing, you can't make money painting, you'll never be successful, you'll never do all that. And this is coming not from, sometimes even from their family, from their parents, right? You go get a real job.
It's culture in general.
Yeah, so this is the thing that, from a young age, from, kindergarten and all through schooling. I mean, I remember sitting in high school. I did the possible hardest subjects, sort of at the end of school, like specialist math methods, chemistry, physics. And I'm sitting in all the classes and going, I hate this shit. What the fuck am I doing here? Like, but, I was sort of not led and not helped with understanding what I love, what my passion is, what you really enjoy. It was more about, okay, how can I get the highest score and how can I get a really good paying job? Right. And that's the problem is, there's a lot of people that, yeah, you're right, can't be the boss, can't manage themselves. What I mean by that is, when you're entrepreneurial, you have to manage your own time. You have to self-motivate. You have to do all these things. I know there's people that need a job. They need to be told what to do, and they need that sort of guidance. But the problem is they're doing it in jobs that don't light them up, doesn't make them happy. And this is where the whole problem is in the world. And then we have consumerism as a result. Why? Because they're living a life they hate. And so what are they trying to do? They're trying to fill that void of emptiness by going to buy all these materialistic things, the big house, the shiny car, everything, shiny new TV, shiny new phone. Look how successful I am. But on the inside, they're dead. They're unhappy. And so it's this constant vicious cycle of going to a job they hate, paying these loans, paying these credit cards to buy the materialistic things of look how successful I am, dressing, in designer clothing to try and show how successful they are. But really, are they happy? No. And so this is where the problem is people not being guided and helped in going down the path of what you really love to do. Do that. Somehow you can turn that into income, right? If you get really good at it, at drawing, at painting, at music, you can at some point turn it into an income. But people just quit way too early, and they're not supported down that path. And that, even, like I said, often comes from family and friends and parents that even, tell them and push onto them, you should be a doctor, you should be an accountant. I mean, who has ever been a child and go, yeah, I want to be an accountant? I want to just look at numbers and all day.
I'm sure there's a couple kids, maybe Elon.
Probably, you're right. They really love math.
But not a lot.
Numbers, yeah. But overall, it's more that I can make a lot of money by doing this job.
Right. So I'll go do that. I'll make the money, and then I'll be able to buy the things and buy my happiness, essentially. Right.
Exactly.
No, I totally understand. Me and David have talked about this before. Like, we didn't actually get any of that type of education until we went to this college called Full Sail in Florida, where they had one course where it actually taught you how you learn. It was a class that actually did that. I thought it was the most amazing class I've ever taken in my life. And then now my daughter is actually starting Montessori school in June. And I think that's going to be an amazing kind of building block, fundamentals for her future, because it actually helps her develop what she's interested in and what she, all those types of things that you were talking about. So these things are happening, and we're the ones kind of bringing it to the forefront, but then we get censored on Instagram or Facebook or whatever for just talking about these types of things, which is ridiculous, because all they are is alternatives to the bullshit that doesn't work. Right.
Yeah. And that's why, as much as, it's been a very, very rough ride, so to speak, the past 2 years. And as much as we sit here and speak about how bad it's been, it's this pandemic, this scamdemic is really backfiring on them. I mean, how many people started to homeschool, for example, right? And that's, I think, a very big positive. How many people were forced to start to question things, to start to question their government after, locking them down endlessly for months. In Australia, for example, it started out with flattening the curve, 2 weeks, 2 years later, they're still flattening the curve, so to speak. So it just became a point where people were forced to wake up. People were forced to, do homeschooling, start to look at opportunities of how can I generate income online? What can I do to start to, plan B, all these things. And like I said, we are at a point where humanity is evolving, and the systems that no longer serve humanity and are overstepping our basic human rights, our freedom, our choice, are not going to be around. We may not actually see it in our lifetime, to be honest. It's taken a very long time to get here, and things are just going to change like that overnight. But the process has started, and it's definitely interesting times ahead. Of course, at the same time, it's somewhat scary as well, because of course, for us to rebuild and create better systems, better alternatives, the other ones, I guess, has to be phased out and collapse, so to speak. And the whole financial, bubble, that's a whole other topic. The medical bubble. I mean, like you said before, when have you ever gone to a doctor, or when does anyone go to a doctor, a general GP, and when does a doctor ask you, okay, about your diet, about your exercise, how much you meditate, how much do you go outside and get, grounded and sun and all these things? Mm-hmm. Never. And they're the basic fundamentals of good health. So we're moving.
Another thing on that line, another thing that we're doing out here is we are actually starting a wellness facility that does exactly that. You'll have a functional medicine doctor, you have a nutritionist, my wife is a psychotherapist. So you have all these people on board. So you go in, you get evaluated. They all talk to each other. You got a numerologist even, and you get an evaluation on your life, like how you're living your life, what changes you may need to make. Maybe you need to go to therapy. Maybe you have depression. You don't even know you have depression, So anyways, we're starting a facility that kind of is catering to exactly what you're talking about. So all these things are happening, man. They're happening. And, all we could do is stay positive about it and continue running our Healys to get the good vibrations, right? Let's switch gears a little bit and get back to the Healy a little bit. So I'm assuming you're running the professional. Am I correct?
I've got about 5 Healys. I've got another one
all of them
away. And I didn't purchase all of them. I mean, this is the incredible company. They're very generous. And, I am one of the, I suppose, global leaders. And that's simply an indication of how many lives I have impacted, not directly, but also indirectly. Like I've introduced to some people, they've introduced to some people. The perfect way is I introduced it to David, he's introduced it to you, and you'll probably introduce it to some people. So as a result of me, there's been some direct influence, but it's also indirect. Yeah. But I've got, of course, I've got the professional, and I'm always getting, Healy, the thing about Healy is it's literally just getting started. I mean, there's Mag Healy coming out, which is based on, Carolyn McMacken's work and expertise. And, the Healy, for example, uses ultimately one channel frequencies, meaning it's delivering one frequency at a time. Now, Carolyn McMacken's work is dual frequency. It's two, at the same time. And it's able to, this device, the Mag Healy, it's able to harmonize, our immediate environment around us and help with whatever we're trying to do, right? Sleep, concentration. So, if 3 of us, let's say we're at this table here, we could put in the middle and all 3 of us get affected.
So I thought like the residence was kind of like that already, no?
It is in some way, but also, like I said, the Healy is only able to work on one channel frequency, and the resonance actually works with the bioenergetic field, while they're sort of different applications.
So right? This works like I can set the resonance up for whatever, and I can set it on the table, and it's only sending out the frequencies for me. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And that's why it's different, because if you think how the analysis works is you select a client. And whether you select yourself, you select me, you select David, that's the person that it's working with. That's the person it's analyzing the information field, the bioenergetic field, and that's the person that it's sending the vibrations to. So it is definitely working with that one person directly.
Right.
So it is different. And yeah, so the point was that with Healy, yeah, I've got many. And like David says, there is just limitless and endless uses, possibilities for any and all areas of life. I mean, sometimes, to be honest, I actually get overwhelmed. I'm like, which program do I want to run today? But, you know, the beauty of it is that it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. In some area, it can benefit you. And it's just getting started, right? I mean, like we discussed, everything in existence is down to energies, frequencies, vibrations. So, you know, there's just endless possibilities. And the testimonials and the stories I've seen, I mean, I've literally changed lives. I mean, a perfect example is of a girl that, a lady that had 7 brain surgeries. And she's got some condition where her brain was producing too much fluid or something, and it was really pressing on her brain. Like it was giving her excruciating pain and blurred vision and huge bad migraines. And specialists said, sorry, there's nothing else we can do after 7 surgeries. And, you know, so she was resorting to Panadeine Fort. Like she was using them, like popping them like Skittles and just eating them, munching on them.
What is that?
It's like Advil.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar. In Australia, it's a really, really strong painkiller, really strong. And of course, as you guys know, these pharmaceutical toxic drugs, as much as they're great for certain things in life, and they should be used for more for emergency things, not an everyday life to try and cover up and make a symptom go away. She was using them because she was struggling to live with the excruciating pain and everything all the time. But yeah, so I said, look, I've got something here that can, you know, potentially help you. And yeah, the Healy instantly gave her the relief she needed, and she's able to live a life that's more normal now and free from excruciating pain. She doesn't need to pop these ridiculous painkillers that are damaging her health in so many other ways. So that's one example. Like I've seen endless stories. I mean, even people that have had, you know, surgery or they've had broken bones, just the healing process as well is so much quicker. And, you know, when they go to doctors are shocked, like, how are you healing so quick? It's just they don't understand. So yeah, it's just endless. And again, I go back to the fact of how, as much as I talk about it being used on that physical, here's another example, right? I mean, I had a girl that was saying she had pain in her hand, and she ran the analyze to see what's showing up. And what was showing up was her lung meridian. So she started to sort of look into that and sort of went on Google and started to research the lung meridian. And what she found out is the lung meridian runs all the way from your hand all the way down to your lung. And she ran the lung meridian program on her Healy, and the pain in her hand went away. And the reason I use this example is it's a perfect example of how, you know, the meridians, which I don't fully understand. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in this, but from my understanding, the way it works is basically, you know, energy flows through the body, and it's like pipes, right? A block pipe, nothing can go through. And so, you know, meridians are a very important aspect of our health and well-being.
So the meridian is like you're saying energy pathways through our body, or is it physical veins or whatever?
Exactly. It's sort of energy pathways. So like I said, think about them like pipes through the body, and energy is running through those pipes, and they're blocked and can't go. So, you know, that's a perfect example of how she used the lung meridian program to relieve physical pain in the hand. Now, the point of that is, how would you do something like that without the Healy? You know, I mean, yes, you could.
You might have a shot maybe with a holistic doctor that
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You could go to a Reiki healer or energy worker, and they may be able to contribute your physical element to that. But I've heard so many stories of people struggling with their health and have used endless, alternative practitioners, as they're referred to, even though they should be. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. But they struggled, to get the relief, to get, their health in check. And then again, Healy comes in, boom. And this is where, I've just seen the power of the Healy. And it's just something that, again, like
There's
I said,
there's nothing like it out there. There's nothing that you can
Now,
compare.
I would assume that you also believe, like, that it's most of the time it's not just the Healy. There's a lot of other things that are going along with this, right? Like eating organically, like not
of course.
having fluoride on your brain and
No,
things like
Healy's
that, right?
not a magic bullet, right?
Yeah.
There is no such thing. There is never a one thing and that's it, right? Of course, Healy's a tool to help with, your lifestyle, with having a holistic approach to your health, your wellness. But no, it's not like you use Healy and then you go and eat McDonald's and you don't exercise, you sit on the couch all day. No. It's definitely not that. It is purely a tool to be used to, holistically approach your health and wellness. And it goes along with diet, exercise, mindfulness, all these things.
The more I use it, the more I think, like, I guess, people can use it in all different ways. And say I wasn't like the healthiest, but say like I had a migraine, right? And then I ran this, and then I figured out it was through some meridian thing that relieved my migraine. First off, it's giving me awareness of myself and different things that I didn't know were connected and whatnot inside my body or spiritually or whatever. And then, so in different aspects, a person that's unhealthy could actually utilize it, but to get the maximum capacity of the Healy, you need to actually try your best to live that real healthy mindset life, right? To really utilize all the avenues that the Healy actually has. Like somebody could have arthritis or whatever, and then it might. There's a whole bunch of things that go with that. There's like diet. There's say you're a smoker or something, or say you get some sort of bone disease. I don't know. Fucking there's a million different things, but yeah, I think there's a lot of different avenues, and like you said, it's a tool. People can use it how they want to use it, but to get the full maximum capacity of the power of the Healy, I think you really have to implement all these different avenues of, like, mentally keeping yourself in check, like physically eating properly, all these different things to really get the benefits, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
So I was just going to say that's a given, definitely. But what you said, the interesting part where I've mentioned it and you mentioned it is the awareness that it can bring to you. And this is what's something so powerful, which people don't understand until they get one. And you run the analysis and you see what shows up. And I'll give you an example, just because you talked about arthritis. And I mean, that's a complicated topic, and I'm not pretending to be an expert or a doctor or qualified in the field, but from what I've sort of understood is that arthritis is contributed to toxicity. What I mean is toxicity in your joints. So what I mean is you can run the analysis and what can come up is toxicity, for example, right? Yeah. And you start to question it and look at that and look deeper into that. And there's actually programs to run to help the body detoxify. Now, by detoxifying the body, symptoms and disease or illnesses are purely a symptom of much deeper issues and problems and traumas and energy blockages, all these things. And so this is where, Healy is not treating, healing any diseases or illnesses, but is able to help you understand yourself, perhaps bring some things to your awareness and start to, I suppose, look at things differently, how generally going to a doctor or mainstream or big pharma would, try and treat the symptom.
No,
It's
exactly, and that probably would pop up. Also along the lines of inflammation, so you could get some intestinal thing. Like my wife, she has colitis, but she also has just recently developed arthritis in her wrists. So it's because of the inflammation, the overwhelming inflammation in her body, that she has the arthritis. So there's like, you got to go down through the layers, and then say you run the toxicity program or whatever. Okay, that's helping your body get like prepared, or detox of like the top level or whatever. But you actually have to probably go out and do like a program for like 7 days of like detoxing your body, either heavy metals or your colon or whatever it is, or maybe all of them, right? um so that's I totally get what you're saying, but that's like the different levels. So yes, you may have some relief from like the toxicity program, but if you're not going all in, you're not solving the problem, right?
Of course. You got
Right.
to hit it
well,
from all angles. David, go on. You're going to say something.
yeah. I think that that goes to say for everything that you're trying to do that is generally considered alternative or holistic. It's a practice that you have to cultivate, and it's something that you have to do, whether it's a daily or a weekly basis. But you can't, it's the same thing. Like if you take vitamins every day, but you're eating at McDonald's all the time, are they going to be as effective? Probably not. So just like Healy is a tool, just like supplements can be a tool, just like exercise, just like eating healthy is now becoming a tool for wellness or wellness, which should be in all our minds. It's kind of the basic thing, but for a lot of people who are still in the system, living on stress, living on cortisol, not thinking clearly, not having a moment to come up for a breath of fresh air to think clearly. Um, this can be a pathway to starting a practice in your daily life. And I think my wife and I, after using it for 2 years, we started really skeptical. Although the first time, like on the plane, how effective it was. uh, After that, my mind starts going, is this really working? Is it my mind? Am I just creating this? Is this, and then you have these moments with the Healy that are undescribable. And so you just keep going down the path. And now, we're here shouting it from the rooftops. But what we keep saying is that it's not the end all be all, but it is a tool that we can use.
Mm.
And if, at the very least, drawing awareness to the fact that our energy is something that uh, can be managed and balanced, to me, that's a very, very powerful tool to have. No vitamin you take balances your bioenergetic energy. I
Mm.
mean, this shit is the future. This is next level. And Peter, like you were saying, there's a lot of this technology has been repressed in our human history for years, and quite possibly could be just resurfacing from our ancient history. If you
Right.
go back to ancient civilizations, there are lots of references to energy, and this could be the resurfacing of that into our consciousness. And this could be the pathway to awakening to our potential.
Yeah. Hey guys, I don't mean to rush, but I got to get going because my daughter's waking up now. Um, but Peter, it was awesome chatting with you, man. We should definitely do this again when we maybe have some more time. I mean, this is why me and David started this podcast, because there's literally infinite amount of content to talk about with this, because it bleeds into all these different avenues. You know what I'm saying? So, we're just gonna like just keep chatting and chatting. Like some of these podcasts will be 3 hours long, whatever. It doesn't matter. It can be 5 hours. I don't care, as long as we got the time to do it. And you're definitely welcome back on anytime. How long are you gonna be out there in the Dominican Republic?
So with Healy, I won one of those top leader holiday, not even a holiday, a trip, all expenses paid. So I'm going to
Oh, cool.
Singapore early June, I think June the 8th for a few days. Then I'm not sure. So I'll probably be here till about June.
Okay.
And yeah, look, thanks for having me on. And just to finish with what Dave said,
Yeah.
the vitamins, another use of the Healy, because he brought it up, is we do have digital nutrition.
Mhm.
And this is another use of the Healy. And generally with nutrition, it's two things, right? What we put into our body, whether that's through food or supplementation. I mean, there's already a problem with that. Is, you know, the food we eat is generally nutritionally bankrupt. The supplements we use, how much, you know, is synthetic and all that. But the other big problem is our body absorbing it and using it. And this is where the Healy has digital nutrition, that it's able to help your body get back into balance and harmony, so it's able to utilize and absorb the nutrition from food and supplements if you start to, you know, use supplements or use supplements. So this is why sometimes, you know, people can take endless supplements, but they're still deficient in certain things because their body's just not absorbing it, because there's some imbalance, there's something going on. And so that's just one other aspect and one other use of Healy. Like I said, there's just so much, and we could sit here and talk for hours on you know, sleep, fitness, everything and anything you can think of. You can basically use the Healy. And yeah, sorry, I may have gone off on tangents here and there. But yeah, we can talk. I can talk for hours, and ultimately, the reason I love Healy is because it's in line with basically two of my main morals and values is freedom and choice. And it ultimately empowers people to take control over their life and their health and wellness, and not be so reliant on external. It's really a tool that can help bring awareness, help put things back into balance and harmony without using pills, potions, creams, and all these sorts of band-aid things that are often not doing anything.
Yeah, it's so interesting. We can sit here and talk about all these great things that this does, and like people might like point at us and be like, "Oh, don't tell me what to do. This thing is a hokey pokey, whatever." But like, we're not telling anybody to do anything. We're just saying, here's the information, here's the device. Come on over. You can try it if you want. As opposed to like what culture and like the powers that be are like, you have to take this vaccine, you have to do that, and there's no choice. Why don't they give a choice, right? It's because the truth is probably more along the lines of the Healy and what we're talking about, because we are allowing people. We say, go ahead, take the vaccine, wear the mask, do whatever you want. Don't tell me what to do, but you could do whatever you want. So when everything can be out there in the open and talked about at the same time, that's when you know truth is around. You know, when it's restricted, that means you're not getting the whole story, probably. But David, you didn't really talk too much. I feel bad. You got any last thoughts on?
Well, I'm glad. I've talked to Peter for what we talked like 4 hours.
Yeah, it was great to get to know him a little bit.
Joe, you've been my best friend forever. We talk hours on end, so I'm glad that you guys got to meet.
Yeah, for real. Like, I don't know what your availability is over the next like couple of weeks, but we'd love to have you back on. I think it's a great addition. I mean, having at least another person, or maybe we got to get what's her name on too. Your friend
Brianna.
Yeah. So no, I think this is great because your wealth of knowledge. We didn't even really get to dive into like everything that you know about the Healy, which I would love to do because I'm still trying to figure things out, and I'd like to understand more about like the coaching program and all of the digital vitamins like you were talking about and stuff like that, and like when you use them, how you use them, blah 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 blah. So let's maybe try and plan something else here soon in the next.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump back on.
Okay.
And with everything you said, I will tell you honestly, I'm still finding my way around the Healy too.
Yeah, it's so much. It's so much.
One thing that I've learned about Healy is, as much as it's simple to use, it's also very complex. Mm-hmm. And you just got to be mindful that this modality, this technology, this device is still very sort of new to humanity. And so we're still sort of discovering it, and especially the Healy as well. And, you know, you can go and well, before the Healy sort of came around, what I mean by the Healy is it's a compact little device that the everyday person can use in their own home, wherever they are, on the go. The only way you could access the use of this technology, this modality, is you have to go to a practitioner and pay them $100, $200 for a little bit of time. And they sort of knew what they were doing, right? They had a lot of extensive skills and knowledge and training and everything to get you I suppose, those benefits and the results very quickly, a lot quicker than potentially when you get a Healy and you're sort of stumbling your way around. But look,
But
the
you
one
have
thing about
it, so
Healys,
you could do what you got to do as long as
yeah,
you want to.
but the thing with the Healy is there is no known negative side effects, as generally everything else has these side effects. I mean, they're generally effects. They're not even side effects. They're effects. You put something in the body or you do something, there's going to be an effect. But, the Healy is you either need those frequencies which are designed to enhance or benefit you, or you don't. If you don't need them, they don't harm you. They don't do anything.
Right.
So as long as people get it and start to play with it and discover it and start to enhance or integrate it into their life, they will at some point realize the power and the benefit. And sometimes you don't need a Healy until you need a Healy.
Right.
If you're relatively very healthy and you're doing all these other things, you may not see these huge benefits and results. There just might be slight tweaks, and I believe a 1% or a small percentage enhancement or improvement, and also using it holistically to stay and not sort of decline and go backwards or get sick or have issues. I mean, again,
the technology itself, I think, is like we're all. This will be the last thing I say too, by the way. Teetering on like the communication, just coming up with some words even or ways of saying things to communicate this to other people is actually kind of difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to have a certain understanding of yourself and the universe and a little quantum physics and stuff like that, right? To even be able to easily, like, we can all probably freely talk to each other, but what I want to do is I want to try and I'm trying my best to simplify this.
Oh, yeah.
Make it really, like, we even want to come out, we're going to have like a few like videos that are only maybe like 20 minutes, like simple, straight to the point, showing people how to use the device in a very clean way with clear language, So I think as these podcasts go on, we're going to slowly keep simplifying the language. Right now, we're just like brain dumping on it. We're just like, get it out there. And once it's out there, then anybody can sit around for hours and hours and listen to what we're talking about. And that's there. But my goal is to like simplify this for the common person,
For sure. I mean, explaining how this sort of analysis, the Healy analyze works, working with the information field, with the quantum field, where there is no time, there is no space. I mean, I don't get that. I understand the sort of
mind-blowing shit.
Now, explaining that to someone that has never heard something like that or doesn't understand, I suppose, energy, frequency, vibration, they're going to look at you like, what language are you speaking? It's like you're speaking Chinese to them. And so I guess if we look at supplements, when the first sort of wave of supplements, I guess, came out, people were like, what do you mean it's nutrition in a pill? Or it just didn't make sense. And then we got to a place where now people get it. They understand it. You don't have to say much. And so, we're the pioneers. We're here to help take this, to the world, I guess, to humanity. And we're all stumbling around doing the best we can, explaining it, helping people understand it.
Yeah.
And that's all we can do is our best. And as we evolve, as we understand it, and as we can simplify it, that's what we're trying to do, definitely.
Right. Well, it was awesome talking to Peter. We'll definitely have you back on. And David, nice seeing you.
Hey, Peter, congratulations on your trip.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I can't.
We'll talk about more about that too, about how you're able to
Marina Bay Sands. Go to Marina Bay Sands.
Yeah. I think that's where we're staying, the hotel. But everything's paid for, and that's we can discuss. We discuss more, I guess, the industry part and the business model next time, perhaps.
Because that's like a whole other show.
As much as we talk about the Healy and the benefits on your health and wellness, if you're dead broke in a job you hate, if you can't go, let's say there's so many people in Australia that are miserable and they're in a job and they feel stuck. It doesn't matter where you are in life. If you feel stuck in a job, feel stuck in a location, feel stuck, that starts to impact on your health and wellness. Yeah. And so that's why they sort of go in hand. As much as there's that saying, money doesn't buy you happiness, well, it can definitely give you a lot of freedom and joy that can bring you joy, that can enhance your, quality of life. So they go hand in hand, and it's another area I'm passionate about. But thanks, David. But it's not something that I can do by myself or I've done by myself. This is a team effort, and that's another reason why I love this industry, is the incredible people like you guys here, right? We're all working together collaboratively, and it's not, you know, an industry like the general business or job where it's not really a collaborative effort. Everyone is for themselves. They don't care about other people. So yeah, happy to discuss that next time for sure.
All right, guys. Nice chatting with you.
Thanks,
Love
guys.
you guys.
And yeah, have an epic day, night.
Enjoy the weather out there, guys. I'm freezing up here in Rhode Island. See you
I'm
later.
sweating, so yeah, I'm
Yeah,
probably
man.